but he does have a little bit of support. He has the guy who maybe is the best young running back in the game, Rookie of the Year, Adrian Peterson.
Running backs in this league, you talk about anywhere, and every time he touches the ball, you kind of hold your breath.
Did Usain Bolt hold the football? Would Peterson have a chance?
Peterson to the edge. Woo-hoo! In the NFL last year. First down.
I mean,
Vasante Shenko liked it.
yeah.
Adrian Peterson putting on the moves.
Slippery as you can get. Here's what I like right here. He moves to
Peterson coming back this way to the outside, midfield, 40, and cut down inside the 30-yard line. Bob Sanders made the saving tackle. First down, Minnesota.
What a job by Peterson of bouncing to the outside. This is supposed to go off right guard. Keep in mind, Adrian Peterson gets all the way back to the outside. He got outside Kelvin Hayden, and Bob Sanders goes low. Tackles an inside of this Colts defense.
On 2nd and 1. Peterson again. First down and then some. Cuts it to the near side on his feet to the 30-yard line.
Now, old school philosophy says, run this until they show they can stop it. This is just mashing football. Take a look at the lead block. Adrian Peterson does the rest, but when you get him 5 yards downfield before he's challenged, that is good stuff. That is good stuff. Boy, did he get a nice lead block from Garrett Mills by the Vikings going to their power game.
Adrian Peterson back in the lineup. Gets the handoff, almost lost it. Still on his feet, inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line.
And I hope everybody here in Minneapolis and Vikings fans everywhere realize how special this kid is. This is a 3-yard loss. That's all that is, and he turns it into a 3 or 4 yard gain. That was a loss by virtually every other running back in the NFL.
7 carries, 68 yards already for a
Minnesota running game that's going to have to win the day for the Vikings.
Peterson again. Peterson vaulting at the line of scrimmage to the 40 and out to the 45-yard line.
Boy, did he get hit low from behind, but he bounces right up. I think Robert Mathis came in at the end and got him. But Adrian Peterson, again, look at him go over. We've seen him do this ever since he got here. But Robert Mathis doesn't give up, and at the end, wow, he comes in and he tries to take out the legs of Adrian Peterson.
I would love to.
So we can explain what we're seeing to us, those of us that are still learning. Well, from quarterbacks to one of the most feared running backs in the game. Some highlights of Adrian Peterson's short but brilliant career so far. Rookie last October, 224 yards against the Bears, the most yards allowed in Bears history. And since they've been around since the beginning, that would mean something. Last November 4th against the Bolts, 296 yards rushing, an NFL single-game record. Also the first rookie to rush for 200 yards in a game twice in a season. In December, his first Monday night game, 78 yards in his primetime debut, 2 TDs against the Bears. The Vikings won that 20-13. And this year in week 2 against Indy, 160 yards rushing, but the Vikings lost on a last-second field goal. Now listen to the sweet sounds of his sophomore sensation.
Peyton Manning, on the other side of the field. How much can he ask for?
Trying to get that line going now, you hear me? All right? We need 7s. You don't even take it to 7.
Hey, listen. We can't leave the drive without 7, man. It's flick your will. Let's go. Let's take what we want. Ah!
Handoff Adrian to the right, busts it back to the left. Now he makes a man miss. He's in Colts territory to the 40. Bob Sanders upends him at the 29. Adrian left side, sneaks over a Colt, comes back to the right, and drags, and one, but they to a 45.
Hey, I got it's on my neck.
You just got scratched.
Well, the simple situation right now is the Colts aren't able to stop Peterson, but very few teams do.
Hey, we must. It's a must. We get in this end zone right now. It's when your character show. We're gonna see what we made of. Squeeze.
2nd and 1, handoff Adrian, right side, zips up the middle, cuts back to the left, and it's another big gain for Adrian.
Ooh, good tackle. Good tackle.
How you doing, man? Nice game today.
Come on, let's win.
Know it.
Waiting for the snap. It's there. It's down. Adams' kick is on the way. It looks good. It looks good. It is! The Colts are ahead! 3 seconds to go. The Colts lead 18-15.
7s. Game of execution, right?
Surprised about Peterson's rocket launch into the NFL? Well, he shouldn't be. Getting off on the right foot, nothing new for Adrian. College at Oklahoma, you may remember. He set freshman records for yards and carries. He became the first Sooner freshman to become a consensus All-American. The NFL, you already know about his incredible rookie season that included setting the single-game rushing record. But there are some things you don't know about Peterson. Here is the Vikings franchise running back unmasked.
There's a bond between man and machine. At the flip of a switch, we transform into an unrelenting, unfeeling, unstoppable force, ready to crush any obstacle in our path. 2007, just a test drive. Prepare to get run over. Prepare for the diesel. Ready or not, I'm coming. I've been having this tattoo since high school, and a lot of my teammates back then used to call me the Diesel. It speaks for itself. Vicious, powerful, fast, hard to stop. When I'm on the field, run the show.
Handoff Adrian Peterson, and there he goes!
I'm always running hard, and I believe in delivering the blow instead of taking on the blow. I want the defender to feel pain. I want him to fear me. I want him to sit there and think, I don't know how in the world I'm going to continue to tackle this guy all game. What does it feel like to run someone over? You know, you get the chills going through your body, especially when you got a good linebacker out there, a guy like Ray Lewis, and you really take it to him and lay them on their back. Just really give you a good rush.
Touchdown, Adrian Peterson!
What's going through my mind when I'm in the backfield and I know the ball's coming to me? End zone, touchdown. And you know, my coaches, they get on me all the time, telling me every time we touch the ball, you don't have to score. But that's my mindset.
And he gallops into the end zone, and he gallops into Vikings immortality.
The message I want to send to our opponents is the Vikings offense and the offensive line, we're going to use our running game to break your will. This is my public service announcement, and I just want you to know the Diesel is coming your way.
Yikes.
Thanks a lot, Mike. You know, put a heart monitor on you, then watch a running back at the height of 4.40 speed suddenly stop, swivel, twist, leave an opposing DB grasping at nothing really, and high gear it to the end zone. Then check your pulse. The two running backs we have here tonight in this game have been doing it for years. The 2,000 yards Adrian Peterson gained, nearly 2,000. His first fall at OU, still an NCAA freshman record. And Reggie Bush, dude scored an absurd 34 touchdowns his last 2 years at USC. And the NFL really hadn't slowed down either one of them. 50 combined games, 35 times they have creased the end zone. And talk about mad, crazy respect for each other.
He's explosive. He's fast. You know, he's big. You know, he's not your average. 5'11".
Runs through the defense, and he's gone.
I look at Reggie Bush, and he's a great athlete, a tremendous talent. His skill set is like no other.
He's the fastest guy in the field. Bye-bye, baby.
He's explosive, and he's a complete running back.
And there he goes! Touchdown!
It's like he's quick as a cat. He's so quick.
He can't be stopped. Reggie Bush running like his feet are on fire.
When it's all said and done, he's going to be remembered as one of the best to ever play his game.
Both guys were Heisman Trophy finalists in 2004, the year Matt Leinart won it. Adrian Peterson was a freshman. He finished second. Bush was a sophomore. He finished fifth. Reggie would win it the next year. But right now in the NFL, which guy gives their team the best chance to win if he succeeds?
Right now, I think, obviously, Reggie Bush has a quarterback. My man, Adrian Peterson, if he had a quarterback, this guy, if he had a quarterback, not just any quarterback, a quarterback that was respected by defenses. If he had that kind of a guy quarterback in his team, this guy could be a 2,000-yard back on a consistent basis.
Oh, consistent basis.
Yes, very consistent.
You're talking about more than one 2,000-yard season.
More than one 2,000-yard season, all because he runs with a purpose. He understands how to read defenses, understands how to read blocks. He's very good, very agile, and he's determined. You put the eighth man in the box, he's going to beat him up for 3 or 4 quarters, and by the 4th quarter, the eighth man is not going to want to tackle him.
Well, and I think that you're right. In that offense, that West Coast offense, he can catch the ball in the backfield as well. He can be really effective. But Reggie Bush, from my mind, if you think about his career, he's come in and been a specialty player in the slot, catching unique screens, trying to find a way, and Sean Payton has been tactically perfect with getting him the football. But I believe that Reggie Bush needs to demand in the next couple years as he ages to say to the Saints and everyone else in the league, I can be a complete back. Line me up in the I formation, let me run into the tackles and make a difference. I think that you spend your career as a specialty player, you'll never achieve the greatness that you truly want. You need to be an every down ball player coming out of the backfield, and I think Reggie Bush could be that. Look at Darren Sproles is smaller than Reggie Bush and is thriving right now as a backup in San Diego. You don't have to be huge to be that back. And I think that Reggie needs to say to everybody, I can line up in the I, and I can do this. And I look forward to him taking that challenge.
But Steve, one thing about Reggie Bush, he's not the best in between the tackles kind of runner. And that's been part of the problem. If he can prove to us, or even to his team, or his coaches, that I could be the inside between the tackle runner and become the guy to carry the ball not only 15 times but 20 times a game, I would be that man that you want.
He doesn't have the talent to do it?
No, he has talent.
Does he have the will to do it?
He may have the will, but it's remain to be seen. Every time he go inside, he try to bounce outside too quickly. I see that a lot in young running backs. Very few of them want to cut back up inside and take on that blow.
You would know.
The last time that Bush and Peterson were in the same field together, it was the 2005 Orange Bowl. USC cracked Oklahoma upside the head and won the national championship. Bush had 149 all-purpose yards. Peterson held to 82 yards rushing, his season low. Now we bring back in
receiver Sidney Rice coming back from a knee injury. Up front, that left side, McKinney, Hutchinson, and Burke the center. Big and strong for the Vikings. Adrian Peterson, little cutback, nice gain out to the 49-yard line. How about that? 16 yards on first down.
Well, a really good block here by the right tackle. Watch Ryan Cook, but here's what you look at. There's no fullback in the football game. Watch Cook take Tommy Harris right by the play. And Brad Childress told us the other day, he said, I'm starting to feel like Adrian Peterson is better without a lead blocker in front of him. I would expect a lot of that set today with no fullback on the field.
Chester Taylor is in. Ends a fullback in Adrian Peterson. Peterson to the goal line, and he's in. Touchdown. He kept fighting for that last inch. Corey Graham had him wrapped up, and Peterson kept fighting for the last inch and made it to the goal line.
Well, you're right. Corey Graham is the guy who comes over right there, and it's just all leg drive. It's second effort by Adrian Peterson. You knew the play was going off tackle just by the formation, and you know Gus Frerotte, Sam, is not going to do anything out on the edge with his lack of mobility. Good job by Adrian Peterson just punching it in.
Peterson is in now with Nafahu Tahi at fullback. Here's Peterson, finds the opening. Nice little moves in the hole. He's got the quick feet, and it's a first down. Kevin Payne. Peterson on first down. Good hole there. Cuts it back. Turns it into a big one. Can he get one more block? Adrian Peterson goes all the way. Touchdown Vikings, a 54-yard touchdown run for Adrian Peterson. He's done it again at Soldier Field.
It was terrible. It was real stinky. It didn't seem like we could stop them. They pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. You know, Adrian Peterson's a hell of a back. He had a huge run.
Now, watch the linebackers. They're both going to get caught up. Briggs and Urlacher. Hillemeyer's coming over the top. Here's the block by Herrera, and then a bad angle by Kevin Payne. And you got to play that thing inside out and force him to the sidelines if you're Kevin Payne.
Minnesota is within 3 after Peterson's 56-yard scamper.
25 years, and he or no one else was happy.
And Adrian Peterson finally gets into the open field. Can they catch him? Barely. Down at the 40, the 38-yard line. Jacques Reeves finally rides him down. Peterson's biggest statement of the game.
Not a hard play to explain. You give this kind of running back this kind of air. Everybody on that left side, Kleinsasser, McKinney, Hutchinson, Burke, they are all on a body. Anthony Herrera does a nice job on the backside linebacker. Then you're matching your running back man-on-man with a defensive back. Usually Peterson wins that one cleanly.
He gets a breather, a 40-yard
out to town. That's how excited they were to get him in here.
Adrian Peterson on first down, and he slips through tackles and out across the 30. Look at him move. Boy, in the open field, he's special, and he's close to 100 yards today with that run. Anthony Weaver finally tracked him down.
Well, right now he's making the Houston Texans defense look like it's 2007, and they're actually the San Diego Chargers. Not about this time last year, he had 296 yards, set an NFL record against that Chargers defense with these kind of runs.
21 on this carry, 109 yards total today and a touchdown. In his rookie year.
And if you're grabbing, he's going. You better tackle this guy.
2nd and 10 at the 37. Back to Peterson. 41-yard line, another big gainer.
And Dick, as we've seen over the years, with any really great running back, you stop him on first down, you stop him on second down, you stop him for a quarter or a half. But invariably, with this much talent, they are going to make you pay.
In the fourth quarter, when that defense tires just a bit, he seems so fresh.
He's averaging 138 yards a game against AFC opponents, and he's right there.
Off to a pretty good start here this afternoon.
Yeah, he did that last November. The play action and a handoff is to Peterson. And Adrian picks up 12 and a half and a first down.
What a great move by Adrian Peterson. You're going to see him come up on Nick Collins and starts him to the outside, plants that left foot in the ground and gets going north and south. And, you know, for a guy who is such a powerful runner, he has great feet and quickness. It's a rare combination with a guy that size.
Last 4 games. Does not have a catch. Adrian Peterson breaks one. And there's another one of those big runs against this Green Bay defense. Collins eventually on the stop, a run of 26 yards for Adrian Peterson.
Big thing is when you get a hit on him around the line of scrimmage, you got to be able to wrap him up and either get him to the ground or let somebody else help you. And you saw there,
Popenga just bounced right off him.
Yeah, he came off of him, and then once Adrian Peterson gets up into the secondary, you can tell watching him. I mean, he's looking for the home run. He's scatting around, looking over his left shoulder. His right.
Straight 100-yard day on the ground for Adrian Peterson. And on first down, he gets it over the right side. A lot of room to run. And he's brought down just shy of midfield, and we go back to what we talked about with this Green Bay defense. They give up a lot of big running plays, and it's starting to crack, it looks like, with Adrian Peterson getting on a roll.
Yeah, well, he's that special running back that is going to get his yards. I mean, how many times do we hear a coach or somebody say, hey, we can't hold him down. We've just got to somehow be able to contain him, but not all of it.
2nd down and 7. Handoff is to Adrian Peterson, and Adrian Peterson breaking tackles to the sideline and can't get around Woodson, but a big gain of 25 yards.
Well, he starts here to the left side, and you know this is what he can do once he gets a defense moving, and then he's always looking for the big play. This time he decides to break it all the way across to his right. He's got great speed, and there's a list of his runs, and you know this is pretty typical of the great backs over the history of this game, that converting on 3rd downs is hard.
2nd and 8. Farad dumps it off to Peterson. That's one way to do it. And Adrian Peterson just will not go down. 1st down at the 30
before the 2-minute warning.
They do run it. They run it with Peterson, who stiff arms Bigby for the touchdown. And he did do it himself. Now the extra point lead that Peterson got in.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a touchdown.
What a great hole right there by that offensive line on the right side to get Adrian Peterson through it. Atari Bigby trying to bring him down, and you know we'll take a look as to whether or not the ball crosses the goal line prior to his knee going to the ground. His knee's down there. It looks to me like it's a touchdown. Maybe they're even trying to challenge whether he had possession of the ball as it's crossing the goal line. But here's a good look at it here. His knee is now on the ground, and that maybe is a little short.
Let's take another look from this side.
I just don't know, that, Joe, that there's going to be anything definitive to overturn that. And I like what you said, that if they don't win the challenge, now you're looking at lots of time on the clock, relatively speaking, but now you're down to 1 timeout.
It's just from any angle that we've shown, I think it's virtually impossible to see where the ball is in the air in relationship to. And again, I'm with you. I don't think that we've had a definitive look to overturn the call that was on the field, which was touchdown. And I think you bring up a good point. I mean,
ruling on the field stands as called. It is a touchdown. Green Bay is called for a timeout.
So now Green Bay has 1 timeout left. And I would say
2 tight ends, Campbell and Klein Saucer. Peterson spins away. And there he goes down the sideline into Bucs territory, out of bounds at the 43. What a move at the line of scrimmage by Adrian Peterson.
Rondé Barber's the force guy here. You'll see him out on the edge. He needs to force it to Savvy Piscatelli, but he comes too flat. Adrian spins out of it right there. Now he's going to circle the defense. He's got the edge. That's what you call run fits. And the run fit for Rondé Barber was to fit outside.
growing up in Texas, I was definitely a Longhorn fan. My uncle played for the Longhorns. I know a lot of people thought I would be a Longhorn. I was, bleeding orange. I had to weigh my options, and I ended up being a Sooner. It was a good decision, and if I had to do it again, it would be Crimson and Cream.
The Longhorn fan went to Oklahoma, and what a pro he's become. In his second year, he carries 54.
Will break your arm. Everybody's used to that, but he did tell us, Sam, that he has a goal, of course, to make the playoffs and win, but 2,000 yards, that's his personal goal. He said, I'll take 500 and win a Super Bowl, but I'm not afraid to admit I can believe that I can accomplish 2,000 yards, but he talks a lot about yards he left out on the field that he thinks he can improve on.
Just way too late in the execution to unload the football.
Sidney Rice threw a couple passes last year that he completed. Right now it's 2nd and 10. Peterson, nice moves. He finds the openings, doesn't he? And he fights his way inside the 30, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Boy, that was a beautiful run. Pick up 9 on the play.
Starts with a good block right here from his fullback, and watch him cut off this block and then 3 or 4 consecutive cuts after. There's the block. Barrett Rood goes to the inside. He hops to the outside. There's cut 1. There's cut 2. There's cut 3.
He's amazing.
His ability to start, go from first gear to 5th gear is pretty amazing. Quick.
Out to the 38-yard line. Adrian Peterson, drafted last year out of the University of Oklahoma and made an immediate splash before the season was done. Not only was he the Rookie of the Year, but he had established a National Football League single-game mark, 296 rushing yards against San Diego.
Right, Brad Childress says that he's a violent runner, and on that run, he kind of looked a little like that, didn't he? Lovie Smith on the other side says he's the best player in the NFL.
Here's Adrian Peterson. Let's take a look in the history of the NFL. Most rushing yards in the first 25 games. ED, Jim Brown, Edgerrin James, an illustrious list. And there is Adrian Peterson in his first 25 games, averaging better than 100 yards per game on the ground. Great start to what figures to be a terrific career for him. The only thing people are wondering about with him is with his straight-up running style, will he be prone to getting hurt more than other backs? What do you think, John?
I don't think so. I don't think you can think about that. I don't think you worry about that. I think there's only one way to play, and it's the way Adrian Peterson plays.
They'll give it to him again in Chicago. This time, there is Peterson, and look at that! Peterson taking half the Bear defense, maybe more, with him for a first down. It looked like a 3-yard gain, then it looked like a 5-yard gain, then it looked like a 7-yard gain, and the next thing you know, it's an 11-yard gain in the first down.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's why there's no way you protect yourself. There's only one way to play, and it's the way he plays. I mean, he keeps everything alive. He keeps the feet going. He is going all the way. There is no way that you're going to get him down until you get a whole bunch of guys in. So study hard, are good teammates, and they'll have a job in this league for a long time.
Now Peterson breaks away, and he turns a 4-yard gain into what might be a touchdown run, but Tillman is able to save it by knocking him down at the 5-yard line. Adrian Peterson, just when you think you have him, you don't, and a 5-yard gain becomes a 59-yard gain.
You know, Lance Briggs was talking about that last night, and he said the thing that sets Adrian Peterson apart are these kind of plays. You can think you have him. There's Briggs right there, square up on him, and he said he can just run away from you. The thing that sets him apart is his great speed. They all think that they have him. They think that he's not. Adrian Peterson is one of those running backs that never stop, and when he breaks in the open, you're not going to catch him.
Today to Carolina, as many of you know. So the winner would lead Green Bay by 2, and back again to that run by Peterson.
Well, that's why you love Adrian Peterson. You know, he's never going to give up on a run. You know, I was talking to him the other day about 8-man fronts. He said, I'm always going to see an 8-man front. He said, and I'm going to have to make some guys miss. He said, I'm going to have to find a crease. I'm going to have to cut backs on them. I'm going to have to make moves. I'm going to have to do a lot of things, but that's who I am and what I am. And again, you know, we always look at him, and he's a big, strong, powerful guy, and you forget that he's one of the faster players in the league.
Adrian Peterson already in triple figures in the first half. 14 rushes, 100 yards.
Hey, he's something special to watch, isn't he? I mean, you talk about a running back and finishing runs. He's great at it. Moves, he has super moves. Power, strength, speed. I mean, this guy shows it all. I mean, look on this one run. He gets a handoff, has a quickness, has a speed, has a move, even had a jump cut in there.
Here he is again. Cuts it back. And picks up a couple. There's a lead here, 10-7, first down at the 25-yard line. And this is Peterson taking the inside handoff. And they can't bring him down by his shirt. And he keeps fighting and fighting, and he gets 16 yards. Going over Mike Brown. First down up at the 41-yard line. And Minnesota is going to stop the clock.
Adrian Peterson has never met a run that he didn't like. And there's no way that he's going to give up on it. Here it is, they get in shotgun, run him on a draw, and he starts with supposed to be a trap to the left, draw trap to the left. He left that, goes back to the right, and watch how he just not only keeps his feet going and driving and shoulder down, but he's making moves. He's making jump cuts. He's jumping up in the air, and then at the end, there's just no way that he's going to go down until he's given you everything he has on that run.
Timeout for the already in triple figures in the first half. 14 rushes, 100 yards.
Hey, he's something special to watch, isn't he? I mean, you talk about a running back and finishing runs. He's great at it. Moves, he has super moves. Power, strength, speed. I mean, this guy shows it all. I mean, look on this one run. He gets a handoff, has a quickness, has a speed, has a move, even had a jump cut in there.
Here he is again. Cuts it back. And picks up.
You can't let them just make you run into them.
Peterson back in. He's going to cut it back. He's going to try to get to the outside. Heavy contact, and down he goes. Graham is the first guy there. And then he gets knocked down at the end of the play by Lance Briggs.
I was talking about Brad Childress saying how violently that Adrian Peterson runs. Now that's a stiff arm. I mean, when you take that left hand, you just darn near knock a guy out with it. Boom! Get the heck out of here. Yeah, I mean, he does. I mean, I think there's a word above running hard, and that's what Adrian Peterson does. And he has to have a heck of a lot of pain and bruises and contusions and everything the next day. I mean, the way there's not a lot of guys that play that way in this league. I know Jerome Bettis was saying before the game that as a runner, he reminds him of Walter Payton, and he does. I mean, Walter Payton was more of a complete back, and he's a receiver and blocker and all those things, but Walter Payton was also a very violent runner.
Out he comes, 10-yard line. And you can see how hard he runs. And the punishment that he not only dishes out but absorbs. Blood on his jersey, blood on his pants, scratches and dents all over the helmet.
Last Saturday morning he was late for a meeting, so he was benched for the first two series of the game, and that never made sense to me. I mean, guy's late for a meeting and he's your best player. Why you don't let him play? There's some guys you hold the bus for. You hold the bus for Adrian Peterson. Part of that is Adrian Peterson. When Lovie Smith said last night that he thinks he's the best player in the NFL, he was right.
And this time the best player in Lovie's mind is tackled by ticking down to a minute. There they are right now. Portis, that neck injury today in the game against the Giants. Michael Turner had a big day as he went back to San Diego as an Atlanta Falcon and led them to a victory.
And 4th and inches.
So Tavares Jackson had to come in for Gus Frerotte. And what happens? Little movement quarterback allows some movement. Adrian Peterson, 21 yards before he's knocked out of bounds. Peterson had 102 on this day. Peterson
this year. A toss to Peterson running right. Down the sideline and out of bounds near the 20. 3rd and 2, and he goes off the edge and picks up 25, and that's Adrian Peterson, the home run hitter at running back for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, it's just a toss, you know, the weak side there, and you know, he finds the hole. Offensive line doing a good job of getting a push. A good run there by Adrian Peterson.
And his 18th of 20 or more yards this season. That was 25. First down, Minnesota, when we come back.
Differently, and it takes these guys up front a little time to get used to that.
2nd and 20 after the 2 false starts, and they hand to Peterson, and there he goes, breaking it for a first down. Wrestled out of bounds at the 41. 2nd and 20. Peterson wants a horse collar tackle call against the Cardinals, but it's a 32-yard run, his longest of the day.
Well, you try to bottle him up as best you can. They don't want him to get to the outside. They feel that that's when he's able to make his biggest runs, and you know, it's almost like he's in slow motion and no one can get to him. I mean, he's very patient for as powerful a runner as what he is. He just waits till he finds his crease and he's able to make a big run.
Peterson, he picks up 2, and with that, Adrian has now set a new Minnesota Vikings franchise record with 522 yards and counting this season.
Well, and that's why I said a little bit earlier, I mean, this guy is such a special runner that the only thing that's going to keep him from really accomplishing a lot of great things in the coming years is an injury, and you're always worried about that with any player, but especially someone that's as physical a runner as what Adrian Peterson is.
Brian McKinney is back on the field for the Vikings, left late in the first half. To the edge, Peterson down the sideline. He can hit you with power, he can hit you with speed, and he gets 14 off the left side.
Yeah, and so many of his big runs, we've seen some of them to where he gets bottled up inside, but because of his patience, he's able to then get to the outside. But this one's just a straight off tackle handoff, and nobody's able to turn him back to the inside. Bobby Wade right here makes a good block that keeps him from being able to turn him back to the inside. And I know in talking it, I don't know if he just couldn't pick him up or not, but Bernard Berrian on that last play was running down the middle with a chance.
Handoff is to Peterson. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie misses on another tackle, and Adrian Peterson gets 17 yards over the left corner.
Yeah, Cromartie, the rookie who actually has come on here in recent weeks. This isn't why he was drafted, though. I mean, he was real hesitant on trying to get arms on Adrian Peterson. Didn't look like he really wanted any part of that. I can't say that I blame him.
4 carries of 10 or more yards in this game for Adrian Peterson. He came in the league's leader in that category. Now his third.
Own it this Tuesday.
He is on Mount Rushmore. He's going to have to do it for a lot of years if he wants to join that list. You see Barry Sanders on there, obviously Walter Payton, and then your teammate, the guy you referred to earlier, the guy who can dance, Emmitt Smith, who's the all-time leader in rushing yardage with over 18,000.
It might be a little early for Adrian Peterson to be on Mount Rushmore there. There's a lot of good backs that were left off that deal.
To Adrian Peterson. First down at the 40-yard line, and here is Adrian Peterson, and that's why he's not the lead dog, and it's not a knock on him. A huge gain up the middle, 17 yards, and Matt Burke, the center, with a terrific block.
Well, you can see the eyes of Adrian Peterson. He sees this right away. I mean, one cut right behind Ryan Cook, the patience there, and now he's got a safety to beat, which he does, and then Lauren Malloy catches him from behind.
On to 3.
Talking about left ankles, Adrian Peterson on that last fumble a couple series ago also turned his left ankle. He got that taped up on the sideline. An expensive piece of merchandise, and Adrian Peterson there got to take care of it. But one of the things that everybody says that sees this kid run, if he can stay healthy, we could be watching one of the greatest of all time.
And he's been bothered by that ankle. Penalty flag is down, and here is Peterson breaking one, and they won't catch him. Taped ankle and all. touchdown. And a flag back at the 40. A 67-yard run by Adrian Peterson. That'll put a smile on his face.
Offside, defense, number 93. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Well, he's going to pop this right over the right guard. Here, Jay Alford is going to jump off sides. He's going to be in the neutral zone. That's the flag. But he's going to pop it right between his fullback right there, Jim Kleinsasser, and this has affected the Giants' defense now for the last month. Backs that have popped the big one. It started with Westbrook in Philly and D'Angelo Williams last week, and it's something they got to clean up and take care of.
That's the longest run from scrimmage for Adrian Peterson. 67 yards, his 10th touchdown of the season. Spectacular plays, Bradshaw's return. What about Adrian Peterson here,
Well, they get some movement at the line of scrimmage here, but this is what fears. This is the fear of every defensive player and coordinator in the league, is this guy can break one at any time. Now, he's looking up at the scoreboard here to see if anybody is in distance of catching him, but people don't catch Adrian Peterson in this league when he gets that kind of a head of steam.
Third down and a long 2 for the Vikings. Peterson. Only Demps to beat. Touchdown.
Well, Jim Johnson knew that Adrian Peterson was going to get some yards, but he did not want to give up the big play, and it didn't look like Adrian Peterson even got touched when he went through the line of scrimmage. And then once it's on the outside, it's a foot race, and there's just not many people, even with angles, that are going to be able to get to Adrian Peterson.
And so Adrian Peterson, who had only 10 yards on his first 6 carries, goes 40 for the touchdown. The home run hitter for the Minnesota Vikings, Adrian Peterson, just went deep. Touchdown Vikings, up by 1.
14.5 sacks in his first season as a Minnesota Viking. The ball is at the 10 on first and goal. And this is Peterson making short work of getting into the end zone. Touchdown, NFC. Thanks to the Vikings.
Got the lead blocked by fullback Mike Sellers here, coming through on Ray Lewis. Look at the moves in the hole by Adrian Peterson. LaDainian Tomlinson, I think, is the best I've ever seen as far as interior moves inside the hole without breaking stride, but AP is closing the gap quickly.
And the terrific running back Adrian Peterson into the clear. The NFL's leading rusher takes it to the house. It's still his team. Touchdown, 75 yards.
John, a high percentage pass. This offense of Adrian Peterson is a handoff.
Last week against the New Orleans Saints, the Houston Texans were gashed by the New Orleans Saints. Here's an off-tackle run. Adrian Peterson presses it, cuts it back, picks up an excellent block, and when this big fella gets into open air, see ya.
Terrific job backside by the rookie Phil Lodeholt, sealing off that backside, creating that seam for Adrian Peterson.
Lodeholt's an offensive tackle, Minnesota's second-round pick. How's that Houston defense doing? Longwell adds the extra point. 7-0 for Gary Kubiak's team in a hole. Just 16 seconds gone by.
You know, Adrian Peterson, I don't know how to sum this guy up other than he is a genetic freak. You could light a match on his chest. This guy is 220 pounds of chiseled strength. And the thing that makes him rare is he is a punishing beast between the tackles. He can run you over, and he has unbelievable elusiveness and great acceleration, Ron. You just saw it right there.
John, what I liked about that play was the patience, and we talked with Brad Childress. What he was concerned about a year ago with AP was the fact that he was always looking for the home run and sometimes wasn't patient enough. Yeah, you can get the home run by being patient. That was evidence right there. He pressed that hole to the outside, saw the cutback lane, stuck that left foot in the ground, and it was all the way to the end zone. Good patient running, that patience to the hole and quickness through it.
All of a sudden, we forgot Brett Favre was in this game.
Right.
Who? Yeah. He can take your breath away. Adrian Peterson, that's why he leads the NFL in rushing.
Adrian Peterson has a sense of when to turn it on. You'll see the lead play here. Now he sees the seal backside, and there's the seam. Right here, he turns it on to turn the corner. 22.7 miles per hour to get around that corner, John.
I told you he was a genetic freak. Thousands in Green Bay. This is Brett Favre, quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson is the front story on this offense. And Brett's making that adjustment. They'll throw the ball here a little bit more, I believe, towards the end of the half.
The 36, Favre to Peterson. Beautiful run for 16 yards and a first down as we spin toward the 2-minute warning.
You try to tackle Adrian Peterson. You be the linebacker. He's coming at you. Look at the shiftness. Look at the eyes. Looking for space to run to and the power to finish. Adrian Peterson, one of those strong backs, always has those pads going forward. He runs behind his pads, not under them.
Cedric Griffin takes the gift pick. 10 plays later, Adrian Peterson, 18 yards for a first down. As he gets tripped up, it could have been a little bit longer than that. On Tom, well, you got to be excited when you got this guy running the football.
Yeah, most of his yards came in the second half after that big offensive line wears you down.
That 19-yarder set up a field goal, 27-13, and then the next possession from their own 36, the home run, 64 yards, 180 on the day, 25 carries. Vikings win, going away, 34-20. And Brett,
he's a good-looking guy, Percy Harvin. But you got solo right slot, 95 weak, and you're going to hand the ball off deep to Adrian Peterson, but you're going to fake the around to Percy Harvin to keep the contained man up the field. Gives you the cutback lane. I love the design of this play. Percy, now go block somebody, will you? That's an 18-yard gain for Adrian Peterson. Now let's take a look at the same play, different personnel group. From West right, 95 weak. Look at that, Bryant McKinney, all-pro, and Steve Hutchinson. Look at these blocks. And Sidney Rice, watch Hutchinson pancake this guy. He doesn't get touched till 18 yards down the field. Now, up another stiff arm, and now Sidney Rice, another block. This play is awesome, 64-yard touchdown, but it's blocked very well, it's run very well, and this is how they're going to make a living. Hand the ball off to that guy and let Brett Favre throw when he has to and rely on that.
Marquand Manuel checks back into the game. Peterson with a breakout. Adrian Peterson with a great run. 22 yards.
That's act like Adrian Peterson does. You get crammed up, you run those 3-yarders, those 4-yarders. Adrian Peterson right here, gonna come up. It's Philip Buchanan right there. You got to keep your contain. You got to go to the outside leg of a great back like that. He loses that contain, and Adrian Peterson's out the door.
Peterson took ill in the first half last week against Cleveland. Keeps on coming back. Play clock running low. Draw. Peterson dancing, Favre throwing a block, and he does throw the block, and it springs Peterson. Oh, and he goes head on with Louis Delmas.
And Ron, you mentioned Brett Favre throwing the block. Well, it was the key block. It was the block that sprung Adrian Peterson. The kind of thing that wins your teammates over. See Sammy Hill do a great job up there, stuffing it in the middle, and here at the corner of your eye, you see Brett Favre right there on the block on Philip Buchanan. It springs Adrian Peterson, and watch Adrian Peterson finish this run.
And Delmas brought it. Peterson takes the helmet off. He's lucky he didn't get a penalty. But Favre Lions bring down 8 men in the box looking for the run game. There's a run game, but they still can't stop it. Peterson could go house. He does. Touchdown, Vikings.
Whether you have 6 in the box or 8, it's hard to stop.
Yes, it is. And if you're going to stop it, you better go with that outside leg. The guy is too fast. And whenever you're playing a great back, your coaches will say, oh, trust your defense, trust your help. Your help's all inside right there, Anthony Henry. You can't go with that inside leg. This guy is too good and will make you pay. And that's what Adrian Peterson does to people.
In Peterson now, you see his numbers creeping up, 12 rushes. But look at that yard per carry average. That's what's most impressive about him, I think.
And he's already got his 4th touchdown of the year. This guy is a big-time football player. Said he wants to be the greatest football player of all time. He keeps playing like this. He is well on his way.
That coming off of.
And, you know, here's that last play, and you're going to see Anthony Henry. All his help is in here. You got to go at that outside leg and make him cut back in. Otherwise, one-on-one, Adrian Peterson, you try to go head up on him, he's too good. You got to play your principles. You got to play your leverage with a great back like Adrian Peterson.
I'm not sure if it's the neck as much as it is a leg problem. Peterson, the bounce out, his tactic bounce, and then head on. Boy, I tell you what, he is not afraid to drop his head and truck somebody. You never like to see guys drop their head all the time. But he can get down so low, a pickup of 8.
And you can't help but make comparisons with this guy. And the comparison right here, remember a guy named Walter Payton, never running out of bounds, finishing runs. Walter Payton would be proud right now of Adrian Peterson. He's running angry, and he's going to finish every run.
Michelle, I think he's done for the day. In motion, Vicente Shenko. Pulled back, Fahutahi in. Peterson cuts it outside. He's got room. The race is on. Goldson trying to catch him. Takes him out of bounds. Adrian Peterson, the leading running back in the NFL, busts one for 35 yards.
Example of his vision. It all starts here on the ISO, and he brings it all the way back. The isolation play, fullback isolated on the linebacker. There's nothing there. Adrian Peterson puts that left cleat in the turf, bounces it around the corner, and then he has too much juice for an edge defender to be able to chase him down. Took a DB to do it.
On 2nd and 7, the give is to Peterson, and Peterson with running room breaks free into Baltimore territory and inside the 35-yard line before Ed Reed brings him down. He just chewed off a quick 26 yards and a first down.
Boy, and what did John Harbaugh tell us yesterday? We just can't let him get explosive big plays. Look at that crease open up right off of Steve Hutchinson on the left guard to seal to the inside. And Peterson breaks the tackle. And this is exactly what Baltimore did not want to see. Adrian Peterson running loose. The Adrian Peterson time.
He gets the handoff. Breaks it outside. Look out. Adrian Peterson off to the races. 40. 20. And knocked out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Maybe the 15. Adrian Peterson time.
It takes 11 people to play defense against Adrian Peterson. If one guy gets out of position, this is what can happen. And that time, Dominique Foxworth got caught to the inside, and Ed Reed was not able to get over and reroute Adrian Peterson.
That's a 58-yard pickup when all is said and done. Adrian Peterson, 139 yards on the day.
How about the hustle?
Vizio's Profiles, where you'll see NFL players like never before. You already know what they do, but for the next 30 minutes, you'll find out who they are. Away from the field, away from the spotlight. A spotlight which Adrian Peterson has been basking in since the day he stepped onto an NFL field. AP all day. Oh, Jesus. He has as many nicknames as he has moves, but the one thing everyone calls him is special. This is Adrian Peterson. On the field. field, Peterson set the bar his rookie season, rushing for over 1,300 yards, earning Offensive Rookie of the Year and Pro Bowl MVP, somehow maintaining that pace ever since. But off the field, he may be even better. We caught up with Adrian at the place his star began to rise, Norman, Oklahoma, where he continues to go back and give back, teaching a new generation what it means to move forward in football and in life. I always say to people, he has the most amazing, inviting, warm smile, and I'm always looking for like a little cockiness, like there's a little glimmer in your eye, and there's nothing with you. I keep looking for attitude, I just don't see it. It's there, right?
Yeah, when I'm on the field, it's there.
You're one of those guys, too, totally different one on the field, off?
I keep a smile sometimes when I'm on, especially if we're winning, we're up. I'm gonna have a smile on my face during the game, but I don't know, that's how I get away, on the field. And I've been doing it all my life, so I had this mentality, go out and give 110% since I was 7. That was instilled in me, a long time ago. So anytime I touch that field, it's just like I transform. Actually, it's funny, sometimes doing warm-up, I put my helmet on, I just make a little noises, mess around with the guys. So I'll get the helmet and I'll put it on, like I'm transforming. It's, and then, I just do little silly stuff like that to get, get myself in the mood or whatnot.
Give me something. Pretend you're putting it on. Let me see like a little bit of the transformation right now.
So I just grab the helmet, right? Be messing with the guys. So I'll slowly, I'll say, I just go off the head and come up with something, transforming. Just little robot sounds, sound effects.
You still look sweet. You're so sweet. I like when you're doing. I wanted to see like that, like that menacing look. I'm not going to get that.
Nah.
Actually, he has a lot to smile about. Peterson finished his sophomore season with a league best 1,760 yards. A number he'd like to forget, 9. Do you think of the 1,700 plus yards, or do you think of the, do I have to say the number? How many fumbles? Say it, how many?
I don't even know.
Really?
I don't know. But you know what? I don't know how many I had, but I led the league in fumbles. I'm not proud of it, but that's actually a kid told me that. It was so funny. He was like, you led the league in rushing and fumbles. I was like, Ja, you keep up with the stats, aren't you?
I'm glad you gave those figures, actually. That could have went a bad way. So when you look back on your season, which do you think of first? Do you think of leading in rushing, or do you think of leading in fumbles?
I think about both of them. When I sit back and I go over the season, I think about how can I improve and the things I need to improve on. So it's not like, I go back and I just focus, okay, this is how many yards I had, and then go down and, okay, I had these fumbles and, just rush it away. I really, look at that and watch film and study myself and see how I can be more, keep the ball high and tight.
Where do you think you are right now in terms of where you want to be, how good you are, how good you can be?
I really feel like I'm far away, I'm a long ways from where I want to be right now. So I have a lot to learn still, and I can definitely, continue to improve.
That's not just sitting here being humble, Adrian. I mean,
No, seriously, I really expect a lot, out of myself, and I visualize, things probably beyond belief, that I can accomplish.
Something Adrian's already accomplished in just his 3rd season is taking the league and Madison Avenue by storm, having to navigate his way through holes on the field and an endless line of people trying to get to him with countless opportunities off of it. Can you really prepare yourself for that?
I don't think you can prepare yourself for it. Just got to accept it and be able to handle it and deal with it. And that's what I've been doing so far. Family coming here with different business, opportunities and, investments and this and that just come out the woodworks, and it's crazy.
How do you handle that? It's hard enough in your 30s and your 40s, but in your early 20s.
Just balance everything out. I use my mom and my dad's scapegoat, especially with my family, Just holler at my mom about this, or holler at my dad, so, that helps a lot, but it doesn't stop it, because, you blow my phone up, calling left and right. It comes with the territory, when you got money like this, then, You just gotta expect it, you know, to come. So I just deal with it.
Are you used to it yet? I mean, when you go and you deposit a check or when you see what that ATM number is, do you still kind of wince a little bit? Like, ooh, that's all mine.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll be like, ooh, that's all mine. And I'm like, ooh, the government taking half of it too. Like, hey, them taxes, man, it's crazy.
Adrian may still be learning about money, but coming up on Vizio Profiles, you'll find out when it comes to dealing with life lessons, he's already got that down. Two fathers sit down for their first ever interview together. Field, Adrian Peterson makes bursting through holes look easy, and maybe because compared to everything else in his life, it is. At the age of 7, Adrian's best friend and brother, 8-year-old Brian, got run over by a drunk driver, right in front of Adrian's eyes.
We was out in an apartment complex, and I was playing football, as usual. That's all I did. And then my brother, he was one of his friends riding a bike. It was like a busy, you know, street. And, you know, they just ride down and up all the time. And on this particular day, you know, he got hit by a car. You know, a guy speeding, and, you know, I just watched the whole thing. It was, yeah, you know, it was crazy. You know, seeing him fly in the air, and then bam, coming down, no helmet on or anything like that, you know, and just immediately seeing, you know, he ended up dying, he was brain dead. And I just immediately seeing his head just swell up, you know, and I remember running over to him and, you know, get on my knees and kind of, you know, put my hands under his head, trying to, you know, talk to him. It wasn't responding at all. I remember just jumping up. And ran maybe 500 yards, like over to my auntie's apartment. I think that's probably the fastest I have ever ran. I remember hearing the ambulance. You know, by the time I made it to her apartment, I remember looking back and seeing the ambulance driving that direction. And that was tough for me, you know, seeing him get killed right in front of me. And just being there for my mom's, you know, while she cried every night for a full year. She cried every night. It really made me strong because I, you know, held my pain in, my tears, you know, and comfort her.
7 years old, you were thinking about how can I hold this in? You were already being the man of the house, trying to support your mom. Were you allowing yourself to grieve at all?
Yeah, you know, when my mom was away, you know, I had my time where, you know, I had to let it out. But I had to be strong for her, try to help her get through it. You know, I knew how it was affecting me. And, you know, my mom's, it was just, I can only imagine, you know, trying to let her know that everything's going to be all right.
Does he wind up coming into your thoughts a lot if it's making the playoffs, if it's about to score? Are there moments like that where you'll be on the football field and all of a sudden he'll kind of pop into your head?
Yeah, you know, I use all that, you know, to motivate me, you know. When times get hard, as far as like working out, you know, when it get tough, you know, just thinking about my brother, if he was here, how he would be pushing me, you know, how we competed. We competed against each other so hard, you know, going back and forth, you know. So when I sit there and think about that, it's easy to go out there, you know. When I'm dead tired, you know, it's easy to go out there and get that ball again, you know, and try to take it to the end zone or whatever it might be. It's easy to mentally, you know, get past it. As strong as I am now, you know, mentally, at a young age, was able to, you know, let that grow on me, and it helps me, you know, in my everyday life and on the field.
What do you think he'd say if he was watching all of this right now, if he was able to watch all the success you've had on and off the field?
I think he would say, good job, well done, but there's still work to do.
And still more tragedy to come. The night before the NFL Combine, Adrian's other brother, 19-year-old Chris, was shot to death in a carjacking in Houston. Adrian got the news just hours before suiting up. And once again, he channeled his pain.
It was tough. It was tough. It was hard. But I worked out because I knew he would want, you know, he would want me to go out and work out and do my best. That's all he was talking about. You know, I know, you know, it's coming up, man. I know you're excited. You know, you've been waiting for this your whole life, and you're going to tear it up, represent Palestine, you know, woo-doo-doo-woo. So, you know, I just prayed. I just prayed about it all day, and just asked God to give, you know, I asked him to give me the strength to be able to, you know, go out you know, and perform.
It just amazes me how much you've been through and how just completely, I don't know if it's just stable you are with everything. Are you expressive? Are you emotional? Do you talk about your feelings a lot? Or is it football really that you kind of get to put it all out there?
Yeah, I think football gives you the opportunity to go out and, you know, and vent, you know, let things out. And I'm really, I'm the type of person I you know, keep a lot to myself. You know, God has really given me the strength to be able to, you know, deal with things and you know, approach them, you know, approach whatever situation it was in the best way, and try to, you know, live and learn and go on with life.
It's so funny you say how private you are because you're so forthcoming and you're so open when you sit down like this with cameras around us and just opening up about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Did that take you a while? And is it almost like therapy where it might kind of feel good sometimes?
Yeah, I think it does. You know, it does feel good when I'm able to sit down and talk about, you know, from time to time. But at first, it was tough. You know, especially talking about my brother. You know, when he passed, it was tough talking about it. But you know, actually, you know, feel good as far as, you know, not just having it all in, just constantly, you know, thinking about it, or whenever it crossed my mind, thinking about it, and not, you know, talking to anyone, expressing, you know, how you feel, or just, you know, just talking about it, venting, you know. So it feels good.
So if someone was getting to know you and really wanted to know who Adrian Peterson is, would they start with all the blessings, or would they start with all the tragedies?
I think they start with both of them, and that's how you'll find out, you know, Adrian Peterson, the good and the bad.
Coming up on Vizio Profiles, yet another life experience for the young man from Palestine, Texas, that would change him forever. But find out why a jail sentence didn't change a very special relationship between father and son. Each offseason, Adrian Peterson returns to Norman, Oklahoma, and puts on a clinic, coaching kids the same way his father Nelson coached him. A dad who loved and disciplined his 10 children. Despite sitting behind bars of a federal prison for 8 years. Busted for laundering drug money, Nelson had to explain to his adoring 13-year-old son what he had done.
I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to him about my whole situation, you know, and explain to him that Daddy had did something wrong. Daddy had made a terrible mistake, but Daddy had to pay his debt to society. Your father wasn't a bad person. He just made some bad choices.
How hard is that to tell that to a 13-year-old with a sheet of glass between you, have that conversation?
It was pretty hard because Adrian and I was together all the time. It was like, you know, salt and pepper, you know. We did everything together. We picked him up, took him to practice, took him to school, went to PTA meetings with him, and, you know, you get in trouble in school. I'm at the school, so I was there.
He was also there when Adrian held a football for the very first time. Nelson put the ball in his 7-year-old son's hands, telling him, go forward.
It started out on the field, but it also was a mindset for him to keep moving forward and understanding that there's going to be obstacles in your way. But if you stand there, they'll knock you down. But if you keep moving forward and bust through them, it's going to be better.
When you look at him, what do you see?
I see a young man that have accomplished a lot. I see what I have a problem with sometimes is that I look at him and I still think he's my 13-year-old. You know, because I lost those years of being there with him. And just being proud of the man he's becoming, and not only with him, but the rest of my boys too. I have to adjust my ways sometimes. Well, you know how fathers, because they are men now. I also tell them you got to realize that one day when you get older, you're going to have the same love I had for you when you're born. That's the same love I got for you now when you're 22, 23, 24, 50. It doesn't matter. That love is always the same, and that concern is always the same.
So when you look at your dad and you hear everything he says. What do you see?
Well, you know, just, man, you know, that I've learned from, you know, no one is perfect. But definitely I've learned a lot from him. You know, the caring father that take care of all his kids, and you know, gonna be there no matter what. No matter what the situation is, or the time, or the day. You know, you're gonna be there for every single one of his kids. Even when I was sitting there and that glass was right there, you know, being able to look him in the eyes and understand that, hey, you know, my dad is telling me something that's gonna, you know, help me. You know, it's gonna keep me on the right track. You know, to be able to accomplish, you know, accomplish my goals.
What are you most proud of when it comes to Adrian?
The man he's became. All the accomplishments on the field are good, but when I walk, you know, out in public in Oklahoma or in Minnesota, and I hear, you know, the character, you know, such a great kid, such a humble kid, such a respectful kid. You know, it's like we found a diamond, you know, the yes sir, the yes ma'am is a lost art in society today, and he displays that, and people love him for that, and so I'm just proud of the man he just became.
And those lessons on becoming a man were instilled by a man who knew being in jail didn't mean you stopped being a father. Nelson continued to discipline his young teenage son from behind bars, teaching him right from wrong and respect, starting with a simple greeting that Adrian is now known for.
Most importantly, you taught him the handshake, right?
Yes, I taught him the handshake. He came to visit me, and I was in Seagoville, and a lot of things were starting happening for him, and I told him how to introduce himself. You look a man in the eye, you tell him you're Adrian Peterson, and you give him a firm handshake.
It's been described to me. He won't do it. He keeps saying he won't shake a woman's hand like that, but I've heard death grip, I've heard bone crushing. I mean, you're not just talking about a handshake.
I guess he just copied the way I did it. I gave it to him.
I mean, will you give me a little taste? Like, show me?
I'll give you a little taste.
Okay. Oh, that's not even a little taste. Let's see, do you have competitions with each other? Because I hear that everyone kind of, you know, comes in, tries to have an offensive plan with you, how to sort of go around.
Different technique, trying to, you know.
Try to scoop in on him. Gotta cover on. Yeah, gotta go on right there.
Do you have to do that now? Yeah. Can he take you when it comes to handshakes?
We'll set that sometime when we are.
Let me see. Let me see who. Oh, I heard a bone crunching.
Still to come on Vizio Profiles, more from Adrian Peterson, the player and the man, and the one thing he would want more than anything but could never have.
Gonna throw it. Once you throw it, you're gonna tuck it. Hey, once you catch the ball, I want you to sprint through the line. There you go. Finish. You having fun? Yeah. You having a good time? Good. Oh! That's right to reach out for it. Tuck it away. Tuck it away with that right. Keep it high and tight. When the ball is coming to you, make sure you look the ball in, okay? You do that. Everything you do, all right? Always finish strong. 1, 2, 3. Kids, these are fans of mine. So anytime I can get back to those kids and, you know, give them some of my time and let them enjoy my presence and, you know, being able to interact with those guys and young ladies, it's always good.
At 24 years old, Adrian Peterson is becoming the face of the National Football League, a face that somehow masks everything it's seen. 2 brothers killed, a father who was sent to jail during his formidable years, experiences that many would use as an excuse. Adrian uses them as motivation.
Going through the different experiences and learning from them, you know, just maturing over time, and just the wisdom that I get from my mom, my dad, you know, my grandmother. It's really, you know, and just knowing, it's just knowing right from wrong too, and really making, you know, the right decisions. Because one simple decision can affect your whole life. I think I have not made all the right decisions, but God has, you know, got me through, and I made some good decisions. And, you know, I say that going through all that, that's what, you know, what made me the man that I am now.
With all the fame, all the success, all the accomplishments in your life, is there anything you don't have?
Anything I don't have? My loved ones back. You know, that would be lovely. But no, I want to say, you know, I got loving parents. Both my parents still alive. You know, brothers and sisters. You know, so no, I couldn't ask for much.
On upcoming.
That's what he's done. 2nd and 4. Peterson cuts to the outside. First down and more. Adrian Peterson all the way down to the Steelers' 21-yard line. Peterson gains 19, his longest run today.
I mean, you've got to finish the game with Adrian Peterson. Little pump throw to the outside. Here he comes.
Nice job by that offensive line. Everybody latching on somebody, giving them the crease to get outside.
Jeff Dugan up inside with a key block at the point. Gets him out onto the edge.
Vikings started. Hands. Under 2 minutes remaining. Favre to Adrian. He punks William Gay in a 29-yard game.
Campbell.
What? We need to see that again.
That's an Earl Campbell move.
Please show that to me again.
He's not only fast, he is strong.
Oh! That's somebody's son.
2-yard pass play.
We were talking earlier about the beast in the room when we interviewed that man right there, Adrian Peterson. Look at that shot.
Goodness.
That is a linebacker shot right there. Wow. Maybe this guy can play both ways. Man.
You know what? All the advantage went to William Gay right there.
Oh, my God. This man is a beast. Oh.
Only needing 58 yards total on their last 2 possessions to score 2 touchdowns. Peterson into the open field and still on his feet inside the 30 and finally caught by Al Harris close to the 15-yard line. Peterson wanted to start backside, and then he sees this that takes him to the front side of the play. Initially, he takes a peek back there, and then he sees that hole open up off of Steve Hutchinson's block. And that's when he gets dangerous. I mean, once you see Adrian Peterson out in the open field with that kind of space where he's got a 2-way go, that's actually a pretty good job there by Nick Collins, being able to at least slow him down enough to get a little help from the others. Peterson just runs right through Atari Bigby, and Bigby not afraid to deliver a hit himself. Well, I think it was more self-defense on his part. I mean, look, he doesn't even put his arms out there. He just knew what was coming, and it was going to be painful, and he just closed his eyes and took it. But he didn't even cut. Peterson across midfield and tackled from behind at the 46-yard line. Yeah, Aaron Campman, he actually plays this pretty good, but he was just too slow in reacting. You're going to see him squeeze this. He's going to come underneath and try to make a play there, but he just couldn't get there in time, and then that's the lane. And once you see Adrian Peterson get to that second level, I mean, it's rare that you're not going to then see him get on to the third level. Favre gets the ball back with 5:38 to go. And he's throwing on first down. A screen to Adrian Peterson, who rushes down the sideline, cuts it back to the inside, and tackled at the 14-yard line. You know, once Adrian Peterson gets to the outside and the offensive line doing such a good job, Steve Hutchinson, the left guard, he's the one who really sealed it all off and kept anybody from being able to get in pursuit of Adrian Peterson until he was well down the field. A 44-yard gain. It's Peterson, and he cut it back beautifully, and he's tripped up. Otherwise, he's going all the way. He's down to the 15-yard line.
Peterson fighting his way. Peterson is going in. Touchdown. That was all Adrian Peterson.
Remember when I said you got to defend the whole field, and backside guys are going to have to make tackles today? Jason Hunter is the guy, because this thing is supposed to go to the left side of the formation for the offense. Over here, here's the guy. It comes all the way back, and watch 97 miss the tackle. You got to square up your pads. That's
Rushing touchdown of the season for Adrian Peterson. A 22-yard run. He busted away from the crowd and took it all away.
Getting out of the pocket.
Vikings with 231 yards total offense thus far. On 2nd and 10. Favre with time. Adrian Peterson gets away. Inside the 20, he's got a first down at the 18-yard line. Boy, he's tough to bring down. First man.
Well, and this is where he's grown in the passing game. I mean, his numbers are up in terms of being a receiver. Look at what he did at Oklahoma. That's for a career now. 24 receptions as a Sooner, 19 his rookie year, 21 last year. He's already at 20,
yep.
And we're in the 9th game of the season.
Fred said those 300 include the playoffs, which they should, because the playoffs are the most important thing.
Peterson bounces off 2 tacklers and breaks away. Peterson chased by Buchanan, who punches the ball loose. And it is recovered by the Lions for a touchback. Philip Buchanan made a touchdown-saving play. He punched the ball loose from behind Adrian Peterson, and Jason Hunter recovered in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, and Adrian Peterson against Detroit, that's his 5th fumble in 2 seasons. He's going to run right through DeAndre Levy here. Now watch Philip Buchanan, still got the speed, comes right from behind, punches it out, and then makes the tackle so Adrian Peterson can't go get on the ball. Jason Hunter comes up with the recovery. Huge play by Philip Buchanan. Pop out, and now tackle him at the same time so he can't be the guy to go get the ball. That is great work by Philip Buchanan.
Smith fumbles, and the Vikings in scoring position at the Lions 29. Adrian Peterson, again the big cutback. And another one. And he fights his way down to the 1-yard line. 28-yard run by Adrian Peterson. Julian Peterson, no relation, made the tackle. And Marquand Manuel is hurt. They're already without Louis Delmas.
Once again, here's the guy, Jason. Watch him get down the field. Tahi is going to be able to seal him off. See the block by Nafu Tahi? Look at this. I mean, you can't give that to Adrian Peterson. He is absolutely going to make you pay, and that's why when you're paying a 4-man front, gap control for a defensive lineman is absolutely critical. When you're the left defensive end, at all costs, keep your left arm, your outside shoulder free.
Not to mention they're wearing us out as well. That's 11. 2nd and 20. Far, throw it. That one is complete to Peterson. And Peterson up the sideline. Out of bounds near the 10-yard line. And he's out at the 11. It'll be 1st and 10. And you know how hard that was for Adrian Peterson to step out of bounds instead of lowering a shoulder and taking that hit at the very end of that play. But with age comes a little wisdom. Look at his speed getting to the edge, getting upfield. And I'll tell you right there, the old Adrian Peterson would have lowered his shoulder and gone after somebody. This is being smart. Don't take an unnecessary hit. Man, his speed to get to that edge fools me.
Durian wide left, and Harvin is in the slot to the left. From the 4 on 1st and goal. And Peterson, and he'll get stood up at the 1-yard line, but stays on his feet and goes in for the touchdown. Chris Harris had him dead to rights at the 1, and he sprung away and spins into the end zone.
You think Adrian Peterson's fast? He may be stronger. Check out Chris Harris here. He's having a pretty tough time. He's got Adrian Peterson dead to rights. Come up with a second safety, and neither one of them can get him on the ground. At the end of last year, what happened to them? And so now, for the second time in the month of December, we're seeing Brett Favre's offense not getting it done.
Meanwhile, there's Peterson staying inbounds, and Peterson trying to continue to give life to the Viking hopes all the way to the 17. And Favre says, let's get down the field. No huddle, let's go. 63 yards on that play.
Little screen pass to the outside, and it looked like Steve Hutchinson was a couple of yards down the field at least, and ends up with the key block. But where's this been?
Adrian Peterson still on his feet. Finally taken down at the Giants' 32.
You want to be a linebacker or a safety in the NFL, here's what you're going to have. You're going to have number 28 coming right at you with a full head of steam. He doesn't break stride.
I like how at the end of this run, watch how he puts two hands on that ball and covers it up. You know, last week he had that turnover that really cost him the game. I talked to him before this game, and he said, listen, that's in the past. I'm just going to move on. But I like how he's securing that ball when he's going down. 3 tight ends set. Second and goal. Peterson. Touchdown. His 18th of the season.
Pass. And then at the end, watch this. Take that. Boy, that guy
beast, man.
He is. He really is.
He's a throwback. That's a throwback player right there. The 29-yard line.
Yeah, Tony, I've always been a big fan of when people talk about players. If they're a great player, they could transcend an era. You know, somebody from today's game could have gone back and played in the 50s and the 60s, or the great players from back then could have come up and played in today's game. And I think that guy right there, Adrian Peterson, is definitely a guy who could transcend the eras. He could go backwards and play with the Jim Browns and the Jim Taylors and the real physical runners from back in that day.
He plays with heart, that's why. Peterson again. How about Adrian Peterson and the Vikings with an opening drive touchdown? He went around Sharper and takes it in for the first points of the evening.
You're going to see Darren Sharper. He drops down in, and Jim Kleinsasser. Darren Sharper's going to drop in here, but Jim Kleinsasser in motion does a good job there of getting Will Smith up the field and then attacking the safety there and allowing Adrian Peterson to get outside and in the end zone.
The game. He gets it here on second down. Spins away. Adrian Peterson with his biggest run of the game gets a hit at midfield, and for Peterson a 27-yard carry and a smile.
Yeah, you got Roman Harper, the safety. He comes up, and then the corner, Jabari Greer, is in a position to make the tackle as well. But Adrian Peterson is just able to make both of those guys miss. Jabari comes in late after the miss there by Harper. And you know, the one thing that we have noticed from Adrian Peterson over the years is when he has put the ball on the ground, he comes back with a vengeance. He's an angry runner anyway, but he gets really angry when he's had some mistakes that he feels has cost his team.
Delayed handoff. Adrian Peterson right up the middle. Lost his footing. Hangs on to the ball. Saints still going after it. Roman Harper on the tackle, trying to rip it out, and it's an 18-yard run.
Yeah, just straight lead draw, and Nofahu Tahi, the fullback, he's going to lead block here, and then a down block by the right guard, Anthony Herrera. Pretty nice hole right there for Adrian Peterson.
Quit eating. 32. Give it to Peterson. Peterson has first down yardage and then some. Inside the 40, inside the 35, to the Dolphin 34, and a first down.
Well,
Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator of the Vikings, is using a lot of mix and match, and right now he's got the Dolphins on defense a little bit off balance. Tremendous blocking. There's the first contact. The first time Adrian Peterson is touched, he's more than 10 yards downfield. Take a look at that, and that's Dansby that gets in there, but
50 yards gained on that first Minnesota drive. Peterson to the left side, ducks outside, has first down yardage across the 30 out to about the 32. Told you that AP a season ago led the NFL in rushing touchdowns and 1,300 plus yards.
well, when you get in the end zone 18 times, that is some accomplishment. That's the kind of production, touchdown production that most running backs only dream about. You've heard all the adjectives to describe him: violent. He is just a finisher. Some running backs get tackled. Adrian Peterson finishes.
First down, Vikings now to Miami 21. This is Peterson. Dancing his way inside the 15 to the 12 and about a yard short of a first down. Quentin Moses with the stop.
When you talk to Adrian Peterson, he'll tell you that, his running, he knows how it goes. He calls it like famine, feast, because he knows a lot of times he's going to get swarmed. There's nothing there. Maybe he just has to power for a yard or two. But this is a guy who realizes every time he touches it, there's a big play lurking somewhere very nearby.
Play each team the full complement of timeouts. First down, Minnesota, just across their own 30-yard line and far to throw. Short one over the middle, wide open. Peterson, 40, 45, out to about the 47-yard line and a first down. This is the fourth time today the Vikings have started inside their own 15-yard line. Here's Peterson, and Peterson shaking tacklers across the 25, still on his feet, across the 30, and knocked down at about the 35 or 36-yard line. That's a tough run.
That is just, I have no quit in me, and I'm just going to keep going and going. What an effort by Adrian Peterson. It's one guy against 11 right here. And look at this. Look at all these arm tackles from Miami. That's not going to do it. Finally, yeah, I mean, he's almost had in the backfield by Dobbins. What a collegiate career he had at Stanford. He's fast, but man, he brings it.
On first down, Peterson now right side, breaking through inside the 45, pulls his way to the 40, and we have penalty markers down in the defenses. Peterson in the backfield. Peterson, big hole up the middle, leaping over a tackler inside the 15 to the 12.
It's a sight to see, isn't it? The great Adrian Peterson. Well, there are guys that are slow getting up on both sides of it. But what a great hold. Nice kick-out block by Anthony Herrera. Hutchinson does a superb down block, but that, I'm sorry, there is no page in the coaching manual on how you tell a guy to do that.
Peterson, 20. Jeff Dugan in motion. Peterson, the handoff. Peterson to the 10.
Well, that is Barry Sanders-ish right there. There's no such word, but this is how you make a guy miss. What a change of direction. Wow. Look at that. Just beautiful work by Adrian Peterson.
Goal at the 10. Peterson, left side, slips down, gets up again. Inside the 5 to about the 3.
Why not? What else has been missing with him running the ball today? Again, he's going to try to make a hard cut, and he gets his right leg too far up underneath him, but Hutchinson holds his blocks. He's 76 right there. He's going to pin back to the inside right there, and that allows Peterson to come back in and cut off his hip.
Under 4.
7. Favre at touchdown pass number 499 there. Third quarter now. Adrian.
That's a man.
And there's
Watch
the
the speed.
Look at the speed for this big, strong
That's 80
guy.
yards. Yeah. 23 rushes, 160 yards. So he had half of his day on that one rush. 160 yards is the most rushing yards for a Viking against the Lion ever. Ensuing Lions
passing game a little bit before they play the Jets. But the guy that really is carrying them now, Adrian Peterson, 160 yards rushing. This guy is going to be the bell cow for this team. Chester Taylor is not around anymore, so Toby Gerhart will play a little bit, but Adrian Peterson's taking good care of the football. He's showing speed. He's showing strength. He's showing good vision. He's becoming a better pass receiver. He's becoming that complete back that they'll need him to be and carry this team so the play action pass and the passing game can develop.
I smell.
Cromartie right back over here to cover him from the 35-yard line. Favre and the Vikings. Peterson turned the corner. Adrian Peterson takes it to the 36-yard line for a big Minnesota game.
And look at Brett Favre. He is jacked up. Adrian Peterson gets the corner. It's a nice job by Shanko on the point of attack. This big guy can run. That's all he did in the offseason was work on his speed, if you can believe that. Why?
Over the years, his Vikings team down 8 as the fourth quarter begins. Adrian Peterson off a 30-yard run, running through people for about 10 and a first down.
Oh, I like that run right there. This guy, Adrian Peterson, when he takes the ball, he's running full speed downhill. And he can make you miss, I said it before, and he can knock you out. And if I'm Darrelle Revis, I might stick to covering guys when he gets around me. Adrian Peterson will hammer you.
10:39 to play until halftime. A 7-7 game. Minnesota with a football from its own 21-yard line in the first big run today, although a flag is down on the carry by Adrian Peterson. We'll see if it's coming back. Peterson averaging 120 rushing yards per game.
Defense.
Oh, as Favre did.
Peterson, man, is he something. Is there another back in the league that could turn that into an 8-yard gain? There is a
from the 34, first down. After Green Bay turns it over on downs. Adrian Peterson to the outside he goes. First down all the way to the 50-yard line. Finally stopped there by Woodson after a gain of 16.
Oh, you just see great patience on the part of Peterson as Herrera pulls around and makes this block. Peterson, they've worked so hard with him. A, hold on to the football better, but B, go a little slower. Just take your time. Let the block play itself out a little bit, and then use your great speed, and you saw it there.
AP 20 carries for 98 yards, and that will get to the century mark, and look at those legs, and that churning all the way to the 41-yard line.
Well, I tell you, this is in part what gets him in trouble with the fumbling, but it is also part of who he is. This guy will never quit on a play. I mean, these are linebackers and defensive linemen tugging and pulling on him, and he pushes the whole pile of them forward.
And he's one of those guys that gets better the more carries he has. He's been more proficient after he carries the ball 10, 12 times a game.
Well, he just drove A.J. Hawk 4 or 5 yards down the field.
Second down, 16. Caught. Peterson. Adrian Peterson inside the 20-yard line and shoved out of bounds at the 15.
And I tell you what, Randy Moss ends up with a key block on this one as Peterson starts coming back across the field. Why not? You get the ball in the hands of one of the great players in the game and let him go to work. Nobody expects him out the back door. There's Randy Moss with his block. Good block down the field. And there goes Moss. Just enough right there. And my, oh my, Brett Favre in Lambeau.
They don't have to run very far in coverage if your guy's flat on his back at the line of scrimmage.
That's true. Favre swings it out to Peterson, running hard. Inside the 10, the 5, touchdown, Adrian Peterson.
job being on that far hash, getting it on the quick swing. Brett Favre comes out. He gives it to Adrian Peterson right away. And then he's able to use his speed, push that sideline, and a nice cut back inside.
Incredible. 2nd down and 6. From the 40, here's Peterson up the middle. He spins and picks up the Vikings' 1st down.
I'll tell you what, the offensive line does a great job. I don't want to take anything away from Adrian, but the hole, look at that hole right there. Wow, you give Adrian Peterson a hole like that where he can go and shake somebody down when he gets into it, you're going to be very successful running the ball. That was a great job of that offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings
today. From the Cardinals 23, it's Peterson. Cuts to the outside. Inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line. And he took Rashad Johnson with him.
Oh, boy, yeah. Now you're trying to break down. He's out in space, and you're coming in. Again, it's that single back look, and it seems like it defines itself a lot better. Rashad Hall finds himself in space. Uh-oh.
I think Adrian Peterson, Darryl, single back there, he has more vision. He doesn't have that body in front of him. You talk about not having a fullback. I think he can see a lot more, and he has the moves to go and make people miss.
Wide receiver set for the Vikings. Here comes Adrian Wilson. Favre gets rid of it. And it's taken into Cardinals territory by Peterson to the Arizona 30. Vikings start from their own 31. Their first possession here in overtime. Adrian Peterson. Peterson across midfield. Inside the Cardinals 40 to the 39. Peterson gains 31 yards.
And I'm surprised that Arizona was as aggressive with their play calling in their series. 3 consecutive passes. Minnesota comes out here on their first one. Just get back into the normal flow of the game. Hand it off to your big man. Look at him run through arm tackles.
That's the whole thing. There was nothing there. Adrian Peterson made something out of nothing. That's all him. You're right. You can't arm tackle that guy, Darryl.
2 tight ends, 2nd down and 11. It's Peterson again up the middle. And this time he picks up a 1st down. Adrian Peterson, the NFL's 2nd leading rusher, takes it out to the 49 for a gain of 19.
Nice play call right there. I think he caught the Bears expecting pass. Brian Urlacher, 54, a little bit deep. That allows John Sullivan to get up on him. And right in the middle, they're able to get Adrian Peterson to the 2nd level very quickly.
If them offensive linemen can get to that 2nd level, like you pointed out, Moose, they're going to have a field day of running the ball with Adrian Peterson. You got to go and attack.
Vikings have not scored a touchdown on their first possession this year. Screen pass to Peterson. Adrian Peterson in open field into Redskin territory. Peterson ridden out of bounds inside the 30 by Philip Buchanan, and a huge gain for the Vikings, 34 yards.
Leslie Frazier made it plain to his offensive staff that Adrian Peterson had to touch the football more than he's been touching it. He's having a great year already running the ball. They want him to have a greater year. Now they get it to him in the screen game early. And look at Sidney Rice downfield. Wide receiver just back. His 2nd game. Look at the block on Philip Buchanan. Adrian Peterson to touch it now.
1st down on the 13. 2 tight ends for Minnesota. Here's Peterson. Peterson and gets some extra yards as he did on his first carry of the game. Winds up with 9 before Rocky McIntosh is there, and just a yard short of what will be a 1st and goal for Minnesota.
What you have to be careful of when you have a back like Adrian Peterson is that people are going to scheme to try and take him out of the game. So what happens a lot of times is you don't hand it to him because you say, well, coach, someone's there. You know something? They still have to tackle it. Let him touch the football and see if they can get him on the ground.
They need 2 yards here on 2nd down. Peterson again.
First down for Peterson, driving in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. Adrian Peterson with his 8th touchdown rushing of the year, and the Vikings quickly come back. That's a 5-yard run, and as crisp as the Redskins were, the Vikings were the same.
Dick, you talked earlier about how Adrian Peterson moved the pile on his first run. Watch how it happens again here. Everyone's locked up well, but he's met by contact by Kedrick Golston, number 64, runs right through it and finds his way in the end zone.
Kelvin had a rough day.
Adrian Peterson did not
day.
bang.
Look at that. That's a run. Yes.
Viking.
It cost you some money.
Yeah. Cost his team 15 yards. And can somebody tackle Adrian Peterson near the goal?
Oh, gosh. That's embarrassing. Wow.
Vikings leading 21-7. Bills 43.
It's like Jared Allen took like the first half of the season off, but he's come out and been on fire.
And Adrian Peterson was huge today. A couple of cuts, then the speed. 43-yard touchdown. Again with a bad ankle. Yeah, a bad ankle. Vikings leading 30.
With some interceptions. 6 now in the last 5 games.
2nd and 3, and that's vintage Peterson. Busting tackles out to the 36 and a first down. Gain of 15.
You know, sometimes you let a team sort of hang around a little bit and maybe they get something going. You can see right back over here is what Adrian Peterson ultimately wants to get to. Nice job by Chris DeGear just sort of staying on that hole and finally driving Sims out of there.
A couple of weeks ago, his knee was also an issue as well. Peterson's going to cut it back. And Peterson for a first down into Eagle territory. Samuel then helps to knock him down. The ball comes loose. The Eagles think they have it, and they do. So sure enough, Peterson saying, no, I was down. I was down.
He thought the Eagles simply did not want Michael Vick to play in the snow.
Well, they've been talking about that for 2 days here. Meanwhile, there's Peterson on dry land, getting 16 yards tackled by Coleman. It would have been
there, which is what would have happened the other night. There's no way that big defensive lineman could have been able to make this move. But again, Adrian Peterson, this is almost a touchdown. Coleman just saved that one. There was nobody on the rest of the field. That for the nation kind of game.
A guy drafted as a wide receiver in the 6th round. Peterson inside the 20, inside the 10, and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. And again, this place is totally silent.
Well, for all the good plays Kirk Coleman has made tonight, he just blew that one right out here. His job, he's got to contain Adrian Peterson. You could not let him bounce it all the way out. Nobody else left. They're lucky that one didn't go the distance, but almost. That one's sort of been ticking all night. They've just missed 2 or 3 times on these plays, and then finally Peterson hit him.
27.
Peterson, what a move, and he's still going. Peterson inside the 5. Bob Sanders saved the touchdown. 46 yards. Key block there by Jim Kleinsaucer.
What great vision, what great escapability. And this guy's never down. We just talked about having to swarm to tackle this guy, and we talked about keeping leverage and keeping him inside. You saw Quentin Jammer there. Gets caught looking inside after Weddle misses the tackle. With a guy like this, you just can't do. You've got to be patient.
Adrian Peterson cuts outside. He inside the 10. Down there on 1st down. Adrian Peterson.
His vision is ridiculous. And this guy's been the best since he got in the National Football League. And his production and what he does. And watch him read this. He's going to see an inside gap charge by Darnell Dockett. He sees it and then cuts right back to the open spot. There's Dockett there to make the play. And then the beauty of Adrian Peterson is when he sees it and gets into an open lane, Chris, He is 0 to full speed in about a step and a half.
So he picks up 11, first and goal, and Toby Gerhardt averaging 4.6 yards a carry, and for his career, Tim, very impressive, averaging 95 yards a game since he came into the league, and you see nobody has run the ball, has been more productive in the National Football League than Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, and listen, he's got his work cut out for him because they are still unsettled in terms of their level play at the offensive line. He's been able to do a lot of it on his own.
Peterson, and that's a touchdown, Vikings.
Watch the block by Jimmy Kleinsaucer, sealing the edge. Number 40, the tight end. Look at him take Joey Porter and just drive him down. There's a good block from the wide receiver as well. It's Adrian Peterson against Patrick Peterson in the open field. Sticks his foot in the ground and punches it up inside for a touchdown. Well blocked.
No relation, and Longwell's extra points gives the Vikings a 7-0 advantage. Adrian Peterson with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. The Vikings looking for their first win. And the Vikings on offense. Peterson. Adrian Peterson. Touchdown!
Watch what Phil Lodehold does. He drops back and brings Darnell Dockett up the field. Great down block by the tight end, or Harbin, excuse me, and then look at this hole. Look at the hole for Adrian Peterson. And you love that. What Percy Harbin, all 185 pounds of him on Adrian Wilson. Adrian Wilson can't disengage, outweighs him by 50 pounds, can't break free, and that really is the block that springs it to give Adrian Peterson the long edge.
20. Keeping an eye on the Viking sideline. He remains out. Peterson carries. Adrian Peterson. Touchdown.
Watch how they wash down the right side. Big down block. Big down block. Huge hole for Adrian Peterson. And then watch him just, look at that cut. Now he's going to carry Patrick Peterson into the end zone. Here you go, Rook. Take some of that. Look at that power.
Ryan Longwell makes it 28-0 here in the opening quarter. The Cardinals looking at Adrian Peterson. They can't stop him. They can't even contain him.
And the offensive line's opening huge holes for him. A lot of times Adrian Peterson will do it by himself. He's got huge running lanes to go through. Look how violent those cuts are. Take a listen to this at normal speed. You got Patrick Peterson in front of him. Clark Hagan's hanging on from behind, and you're not slowing down number 28, Adrian Peterson. This guy is a beast.
Well, Tim, if you're the Cardinals, you've lost 9 in a row. Of course, the Cardinals and Vikings have played 4 straight years. It's like teams in the same division, but they're not. So they're familiar with each other. Peterson. Adrian Peterson gets a first down for Minnesota. And that'll kill any chance. Peterson. Adrian Peterson across the 40. It's another first down. The Cardinals are out.
Peterson breaking tackles and bounces to the outside. That'll be a gain of 12 for Adrian Peterson.
Develop here in this first half.
Well, they can't get a first down. It's spotted outside the 10. Peterson close to the first down. Did he get in the end zone? Just short, it appears. That's about the only spot you can get tackled and pick up a first down.
We're going to see the fullback, D'Imperio, who comes out and is the lead blocker. Then for Adrian Peterson, who kicks out. Some good hard running there after contact by Adrian Peterson.
Of course, until about his 8th year in the league. Contact and runs right through it. Touchdown, Adrian Peterson. This is without a doubt an inspired Minnesota Vikings offense, at least in his first half.
Well, it's a good job of cashing in after the turnover created by special teams.
We knew that, you know, our offense was going to be our best defense against this Green Bay Packer offense. These guys are very explosive. So, you know, just mixing it up and, you know, staying with the run game and, you know, adding the pass, you know, to keep drives alive. That was something we practiced on all week, and we did a good job of that tonight.
Peterson to the outside. And run out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
You can see the blocking here, and then the lead block. Just a nice job getting up to the second level. Everybody's continuing to block. Michael Jenkins on the outside. When you've got a runner like Adrian Peterson, you just try to get a body on a body and let him pick the spot.
The run defense, that's not us. We haven't given that up all year, but I mean, Adrian's a special player. I mean, he made some cuts that pretty much only he can make, you know, in a tight window, making everybody miss. I mean, sometimes you gotta live with that.
Big play in a run game here. Peterson up to the 45. Up over 100 yards today for Adrian Peterson, 109.
Well, kick out here and then a down block. And you see the space there. Charlie Johnson, the left tackle, he does a really good job just securing that edge and giving Adrian Peterson a lane.
Man, does this guy suck. Still on his feet with a chance to take it. Caught from behind to the 25.
We got to honor the pass game, and you know, it was a good example today. You know, the guys weren't able just to stack the box and focus on the run, and with that, we're able to be a balanced offense.
Different. JB, he ran hard all day. That he did. Breaking tackle after tackle after tackle. He's 9 yards. And my good friend Dan Marino would still, he and Coach Schuler would still have the record.
Ponder making his second start, and a rookie quarterback's best friend, Adrian Peterson. Ponder, 18 to 28, 1 touchdown, 230-90, 3 touchdowns. Minnesota would answer. Adrian Peterson, zip, zip, zip. 15 yards. Peterson, tied at 21. He had 86 yards.
The Eagles are going to take another timeout. I don't know how many of you have ever shaken hands with Adrian Peterson. If you do, be forewarned, you will go to your knees. So last night we see DeMarco Murray, who was a freshman when Peterson was finishing his career as a junior and coming out for the draft at Oklahoma, and Murray will almost take you to your knees. Well, something about Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was defensive, I think. You know, he kept shaking hands with Carl Peterson, so they had to adapt.
Speaking of Oklahoma running backs, take a look at that. Last week, 428 combined yards for these guys. Most by 2 players from the same college on the same day. AP and his Vikings with a win today over Carolina.
Football team right now. It is 1st and 10 for the Vikings on their second possession today. Adrian Peterson. Sullivan the center with the contact. And that is a touchdown. the Minnesota Vikings were gracious enough to take it. Adrian Peterson right up the gut of the defense. Look, they just turn out on Henderson, get to the second level to block McClain, and then even blocking in the secondary. An excellent run and vision by Adrian Peterson, picking his way through the defense. You really have to be careful. You don't want him to start watching the pass rush. You want his vision down the field.
Second down and 20. Adrian Peterson. Slipping by Wimbley. Brought down by Michael Huff. Carrying a brigade on his back. That's a gain of 12, and he's up to the 22.
He is so good, Kevin. And I got to tell you, this is Walter Payton-like, because you got 8 in the box. Look at all the white jerseys, but he won't go down. He's a tough man to tackle. He's very explosive.
And he's
high
hurt.
in energy, and he comes up. He's got a leg injury there.
Yeah,
you saw how he was bent over on that play and how he went down?
You said it before the game, only 191 yards from becoming the all-time leading rusher for the Minnesota Vikings. He's already had a 12-yard touchdown run today. That does not look good.
That does not look good at all. Watch how they roll up on his back leg. And these are the kind of plays where it can end up really bad. See how he's running out. Watch how they roll on his back of his leg right there. That's Michael Huff on the tackle. And when you roll on the back of that leg, boy, you're exposed to injury. See there?
Ooh. Left ankle was knocked.
Literally ran. Of Adrian Peterson.
His replacement will be Toby Gerhart.